there is a swift and effective political solution to what is happening right now. This could all be over in a matter of days. Now, obviously, it will take us months, if not years, to rebuild from the damage that Trump and Elon Musk have already caused in less than 100 days. But the Trump regime itself, that could be over very, very quickly. There is a legal, constitutional pathway for that to happen. As I have said repeatedly, Republicans in Congress could end this immediately if they wanted to. They have all the power in the world. Trump and J.D. Vance and probably Mike Johnson have all committed impeachable offenses. The system of checks and balances, the constitutional powers that are extended to Congress, include impeachment and conviction and removal from office. That is the way that Congress is supposed to deal with a president who thinks that he's a king, who will not be constrained by the rule of law, a president who has forgotten his place and thinks that he's a dictator. Impeachment and removal. Now, yes, Donald Trump has already been impeached twice. The problem is, impeachment happens in the House of Representatives. And then after the impeachment happens, the Senate has to convict. And the last two times that Trump was impeached, the Senate did not convict him. The Constitution requires a 2/3 vote of the Senate to remove the president. And Trump's second impeachment got 57 of the 67 needed votes. And Trump's second impeachment got 57 of the 67 needed votes. They fell 10 votes short. Because Republicans are chicken shit cowards. And I think Mitch McConnell probably really regrets that he did not pull the trigger and do the right thing and follow the Constitution, uphold his oath to the Constitution, and convict Trump the first time around. Or the second. So I've been encouraging folks. I understand that y'all don't feel that you can move your Republican electeds, right? Because a lot of them are bought and paid for by MAGA. The ones that are not outright fascists, they are afraid of fascists. Like Lisa Murkowski, who's busy clutching her pearls and saying, I'm scared, but I'm still going to keep voting in line with the Trump regime. The folks who are cowards, we need them to grow a spine and do what's right and uphold the rule of law. The folks who are corrupt, well, you cannot persuade them with ethics. You can't appeal to their humanity. The only thing they understand is power and control. So you have to make a real substantive threat against their power. And how do the people do that? Well, we vote them out. We let them know that they need to be more afraid of us than they are of Donald Trump. They're afraid that he's going to primary them. We're going to make sure that they never sit in Congress again. We will vote their asses out. And you would be surprised how much electeds actually will cave to political pressure. And not just that, but contact the donors who gave to your Republican electeds and you pressure them and say, I'm not happy about what's happening. Don't give your money to that guy or I won't buy your products anymore. As long as you are supporting Republicans who support this regime, I will not be shopping at your store. I will not be buying your goods and services. Flex your muscle as a voter and as a consumer. We know that Congressman Al Green has introduced articles of impeachment already, but I've said from the beginning, this is a real long shot because the thing is, this is the mechanism, this is the lever to remove Trump from office. This is how we uphold the rule of law. These are the checks and balances. But this Congress, this iteration of Congress has shown that they have no intention of upholding their oath. They have no intention of doing their duty. That's the problem with fascists. They don't care about the rule of law. They just care about power. And so I've said from the beginning, all these calls for impeach him, it's just, how's it going to happen before a midterm election? Yes, we need to keep the pressure on our electeds to do the right thing, to stop abdicating their role, to stop abandoning the Constitution and their constituents and democracy, to stop being collaborators with fascism and do the right thing, do their fucking jobs and impeach him. But also, I've said it's very, very foolish to think that we can pin all our hopes on impeachment. Yes, people saying, why hasn't he been impeached? This is the right thing to do. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. But that is not magically going to happen. Republicans are not magically going to grow a conscience or a spine. Without a comprehensive, organized, serious, high-pressure campaign focused on Congress, we're not going to get an impeachment. So I've been pleasantly surprised over the last week. We are seeing that coordinated, organized pressure campaign start to build. We know that impeachment could stop this immediately. Impeachment and conviction and removal from office could stop this immediately. Impeachment on its own, not enough. It's almost just like a scolding, and Trump has already been impeached twice, and he would just go about his merry way. Keep on rolling out the fascism, rolling out the authoritarianism and the daily horrors. It requires conviction and removal from office. And then again, folks saying, well, then J.D. Vance will be president. Cool, he's also committed impeachable offenses. This is why we must have accountability for everybody in the Trump regime. Everybody. Everybody needs to be held accountable for the ways they are breaking the law and defying the Constitution, violating the rights of every American right now. I would like to reference an article entitled "Some Democrats in Congress Are Starting to Talk About Impeachment and They're Right." It's time to stop beating around the bush. Trump must be impeached and removed from office. This is by Andy Craig. The article is from April 13th, and it was published on MSNBC. Since January 20, many have spoken of a constitutional crisis, the wanton lawlessness of a president trying to make himself a king in all but name. By and large, elected Democrats have bent over backward to avoid using a certain word. Their alarm bells ring hollow when the unavoidable implication is left unstated. But it's time to stop beating around the bush. Trump must be impeached and removed from office. A few members of Congress understand this and are willing to say it. It's a start, and one where public pressure is essential. Public pressure is more effective than you might think at breaking the silence. I've always said where we lead, the politicians will follow. Our electeds aren't actually leaders. They don't want to step out and take risks unless they know that the public is going to be behind them, usually behind them, pushing them forward the whole way. A group of self-organized volunteers have been recruiting voters in every House district to start simply asking congressional offices to impeach him. Operation Anti-King, they fittingly call it, in addition to Rep. Al Green from Texas, who has already called for impeachment and has done so many times since Trump's first term. Operation Anti-King quickly found 7 more electeds who are willing to go on the record. Suzanne Bonamici and Maxine Dexter of Oregon, that's my congresswoman, Sam Liccardo and Maxine Waters of California, Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, Sri Thanadar of Michigan, and Hank Johnson of Georgia. In a statement to the group, Dexter made the obvious connection. Donald Trump's cruel, chaotic, and unlawful actions have put our democracy at risk. I will not stand by while our democracy is eroded. I support impeachment because no one is above the law. Bonamici likewise affirmed her support because he is, quote, violating the constitutional rights of the people in this country and ignoring the rule of law, end quote. There are a number of objections behind the conventional wisdom that we don't talk about impeachment, but they don't hold up. The theory of a backlash in Trump's favor has no real evidence behind it. There was no such reaction against his first impeachment, after which Democrats went on to win a trifecta in the next election. Or the second impeachment, after which Democrats beat expectations even with an unpopular president in 2022. Similarly, the idea that it's too soon since last year's election would amount to giving presidents license to destroy the Constitution as long as they do it promptly. That's exactly what Trump is doing. Oh, as long as they shred America quickly, well, we can't do anything. There's no grace period during your first 100 days in office to fuck up our democracy and dismantle the Constitution. Trump's approvals are already falling sharply, especially since his tariff fiasco threatens to drive the economy off a cliff, and millions have already turned out across the country for mass protests. It is a severe failure of imagination. God, Democrats in general have really suffered from a failure of imagination. That is one of their big problems. They're not willing to be creative and adaptive and step outside the box. Not all of them, the establishment ones. The ones like the folks mentioned in this article. The folks, again, including my congresswoman who are in El Salvador right now. There are plenty of innovative, creative, adaptive, younger members of Congress. They sure ain't fucking Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. It is a severe failure of imagination to think that Trump's public support is some static fact of nature, or that the present crisis will not continue to escalate. As America continues to slide into open authoritarianism and economic ruin, we can't afford an opposition that, as MSNBC's Chris Hayes, my boy Chris Hayes, recently said, is doing nothing more than the kinds of things you'd be doing if Mitt Romney were the president. Here's the grim reality. Trump can't be restrained or reasoned with or babysat for the next 4 years. The only way to bring power back under the rule of law is to remove a lawless man from power. Members of Congress don't swear an oath to defend the Constitution only if it tests well in a focus group or with pundits or consultants. Nor does Republican opposition justify inaction. Refusing to do the right thing because you expect others won't join in is just another form of complying in advance. Amen. Under the House Rule 9, impeachment is a question of the privileges of the House and must be voted on within 2 legislative days. Speaker Mike Johnson could intervene with his own rules resolution, as he has on other matters, but this also requires a vote of the full House. Thus, any individual representative has the ability to make all the others in both parties take a position on impeachment, make them vote on it on the record. If they did it now, would it pass the House or the Senate? No. Obviously not, but down the road, it's possible. Either way, a delay only deepens the reluctance, the sense of resignation fueling the constitutional collapse. It is succumbing to despair when in fact just a few hundred people have the power and the sworn duty to end this insanity. In fact, it might be the only efficacious power that Congress has left. And they could pick from a laundry list of dozens of impeachable offenses that he's committed so far. Every member of Congress, like the nation as a whole, faces a binary choice. It's Trump or the Constitution. We can have one or the other, but not both. to save the Constitution, we must be willing to use its indispensable remedy of impeachment.